One more thing I'll say about Invader Zim before I talk about Rocko, I do not feel like editing tonight, is that there was a Q&A with the creators of the respective shows, Jonah Vasquez for Invader Zim, Joe Murray for Rocko's Modern Life. And fans did get to talk a little bit to them at the end, which was really nice. Get autographs. Totally did. And I talked to Jonah Vasquez a little bit. I said, you know, Dark Harvest, which, for those of you who may not remember, is the episode of Invader Zim where Zim steals kids' organs and replaces it with stuff. You know, like replacing someone's stomach with a stapler or someone's brain with a coffee cup. I said, you know, that gave me nightmares as an adult. And he said, an adult? That's too sensitive. It was a beautifully animated nightmare. Anyways, he didn't respond to that. So there's that. Anyways, on to Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling. Equally as amazing, equally as excellent, very true to the spirit of the show. The humor's great. The voice acting is still amazing. I swear to God, it feels like they haven't aged a day, but it's updated. The updates are more noticeable with Rocko than Invader Zim, but it's more about the themes than anything else. Because the core people are still back. It is still Rocko's Modern Life, but it's very appropriate for the modern setting, which Rocko's Modern Life, that makes sense. And they make a lot of self-aware jokes in this. That was a ton of fun. It is a very good special. I highly recommend that one. Essentially, the theme of the movie is about change and accepting it, dealing with it, especially when it's coming at you fast. Since the basic plot, Rocko wants to... the only thing he's been able to hold on to is this 90s cartoon show, which he's trying to bring back. Will admit, I felt a little attacked by this. But there are a ton of meta jokes in this. Ton of animation jokes. You know, this one was particularly interesting. Joe Murray in his Q&A said that one of his storyboard artists knows more about Rocko than he did. And the creator, had to ask him, his storyboard artist, who's a super fan, questions about it. And the storyboard artists, all of them are around my age. They grew up with the show, now are working on it. They put 1,000,001 in-jokes in the show. A lot of fan favorites are also back, such as Ralph Bighead, the Chameleons. I can't remember, there's a boss who's always picking his nose, cannot remember that guy. It's actually one of the only characters I didn't quite remember. Of course, Rocko, Heffert, and Filbert are back. Spunky's back. They do some very funny jokes with Spunky. And it's just, the passion really was there, and the core team was back. They did a really nice blend of old and new. They kept what was great about Rocko, but they updated it in all the right ways. More so than anything else, I have seen Invader Zim and Rocko's Modern Life really are the best remakes / reboots I've ever seen. At least for properties that I'm familiar with. So I really do think fans are going to be so impressed. Yeah, the jokes are great in Rocko. Fan favorites are back. They do some twists and turns. The weirdness is still there. I love the animation jokes. I love they have a ton of jokes about how 90s cartoons will save the world. Which is, I think it's more a joke on Nickelodeon because Cartoon Network has a couple old stuff coming back, but it's mostly new stuff. Disney has some old properties they're bringing back, but is also having a ton of new stuff come out. Whereas Nickelodeon is mostly rebooting everything from their 90s slate. So I think for cartoons, I'm not counting the Ninja Turtles reboot. I think the only original show, at least the one that I'm aware of, and there's a small one about Unicorn Kitty. The only one I really know of is Loud House, which is a fine show. So, lots of meta jokes there in Nickelodeon. But they have a lot of fun with the modern jokes, and they it doesn't feel for one second that they're trying to be hip. It definitely feels like it knows what it's talking about when it makes selfie jokes or big business jokes or internet jokes. Again, because they had younger people working on it who were super fans of the original. So the satire is pretty spot on, and it is, like I said, very relevant. I don't want to give too much away. And they have some twists and turns in there as well. This is not a major point, and I'm sure this is going to piss people off. Well, some for whatever. Some dumb reasons, maybe some legit reasons. There's a trans character in this special. And I will say this, I am so not an authority or representative for the trans community. I'm not trans. I don't know too many people in the community. So I'd be curious as to how the trans community feels about how this character is portrayed. I'm not going to give away how it's revealed, how late in the movie it is. But I personally, as an outsider, again, I'm not sure. GLAAD, I know, was involved from beginning to end. I know the team really did care about doing this well and doing a good job. GLAAD is generally used in media for getting representation of the LGBT community right. However, I've been told by somebody in the trans community that GLAAD's representation for the trans community is quite outdated. Again, but as an outsider, I honestly thought that this character was treated very well. They were clearly a character first. It was not the focus of the show. The characters still had their own identity outside of that. And quite honestly, was still a wonderful part of the cast. It didn't dominate anything. It fit in very nicely with this movie and with this world. And they're not the subject of a punchline or a joke. They don't use any of these tired jokes that you've heard a million times for decades on end. So again, actually, I did bring that up towards the end, and Joe Murray asked me, hey, how do you think we did on that? I'd be curious. I said the truth. You know, I'm not trans. I'm really not a good representative on this. So I do know that there was care to doing a good job with this. Again, curiosity. The main focus really is where it should be in the story, and that is Rocko and his journey. The storytelling is still true to what it is. Like I said, updates are done the right ways. The jokes, if you're a fan of Rocko, you will love this. If you like 90s cartoons, this is a very, very good special. I do appreciate the internet jokes. I like that. I can't say, I think Rocko's still great. This very neurotic character in this strange world. The strangeness is still there. I will admit, the one thing I couldn't get into were the constant booger jokes. Even as a kid, I never liked that stuff. I mean, Kids Next Door did a lot of that too. I didn't like it there either. This one character I didn't remember. The big boss who's always picking his nose and he's flicking his boogers everywhere. It's as a booger jar. I could not get into that stuff. It's not in there too long, but it's probably the only thing I personally couldn't get into. I think kids who like gross out humor might get into it more. That's the only gross out thing I can think of for this. No spoilers. At least I hope not. Watch it when it comes out. I actually got some posters behind me. Invader Zim, yep, you can see them barely. Invader Zim comes out on the 16th. Rocko's Modern Life comes out on August 9th. Yep. Yeah. Watch them. They are excellent. Do it.